The Israeli military says they still don't have a clear number, but I'm talking to some of the soldiers, and they say what they've witnessed as they've been walking through these different houses, these different communities, babies, their heads cut off. That's what they said. Gunned down, families completely gunned down in their beds. You can see some of these soldiers right now comforting each other.
Israelis tell us that in one attack on a kibbutz, Hamas terrorists took brutality to a new level, even decapitating children and babies.
Joins me live now from Tel Aviv. Nicole Zedek is a journalist with I-24. Her report has gone viral. It's been viewed millions of times all across the world. Nicole, welcome. Thank you for your time, and I hope you're safe. Nicole, allegations that 40 babies were beheaded, riddled with bullets is something that you've mentioned in your report. Tell us about that report, because as of now, there is no evidence of it.
I really thought that I would see and have confirmed pictures of terrorists beheading children. I never thought I'd ever... Anyway,
Jerusalem Post posted this today over this stupid fucking debate, but they said the Jerusalem Post can now confirm on verified photos of the bodies, babies being burnt and decapitated in Hamas's assault on Kfar Aza, the kibbutz, are correct. And
that was such a... Oh, God.
There was a lot.
Wait, what? That's not true. No, it's not. That's not true at all. I thought this was debunked.
Confirm on verified photos of the bodies that reports of babies being burnt and decapitated in Hamas's assault on Kfar Aza, the kibbutz, are correct. And
that was such a... Oh, God.
There was a lot of fucking people being like, for some reason, they're like, Hamas would never do that. They would only slaughter 1,500 people. They would only shoot a baby with an AK-47, as if that's not more brutal.
Well, that's like so above and beyond. Like, you didn't have to do that. What does slaughtering babies accomplish exactly?
I said this yesterday. I talked about this quite a bit. I think that the coverage of this has been ridiculous. Like, the fact that, first of all, the fact that it was not verified until now is insane to me. And the fact that it got all the way to the president, who said I saw the photos when he had not seen it and just repeated it, is wild. Like, and ultimately, it doesn't matter what...
It was debunked, and even the IDF said they have no evidence of it. Yeah, that's what I thought. What the fuck? Better wording, yeah. Will come up with hateful rhetoric by themselves or among their friends, and mainstream news is going to do it for them. Yeah.
Method of execution occurred when children were slaughtered, when babies were slaughtered. It literally doesn't matter.
Well, that's why I always thought it was so silly when I would see leftists being like, they didn't rape anyone or decapitate any babies. It's like, I guess they're cool then. I guess they're cool. Shot them. Yeah, they're cool. But they did actually.
Kind of moot.
No,
but Hamas.
This is why this conversation is frivolous, and I mentioned it time and time again yesterday.
Oh my God,
that like,
Ethan.
okay, the babies were not decapitated.
Trying to push lies, literally. Like, why? Come on, man.
Or they were, but they're still killed.
Yeah.
So it is silly. It's silly to have a back and forth on this. However, the only reason as to why the assessment should be made later down the line on how quickly information that is not verified yet can spread all the way to the highest levels of government and what that serves, what purpose that serves. That part needs a close examination, especially considering prior instances where, not that it matters. Again,
I mean, it was true.
And it is true.
Yeah.
And it was ruthless and it was brutal.
It is fucking ruthless.
And this is something that needs to be this is something that of course needs to be considered. The reason why a lot of people, at least I follow, who have been covering this on the ground inside of Israel and some inside of Gaza as well was
the source of that information was Netanyahu. Netanyahu himself tweeted images of dead babies and said that it was by Hamas. Hey, guess what? I don't fucking believe him. Why would you? Why would you believe him if you're just talking about how psychopathic he is? Hello? Oh my God.
Even if those babies weren't beheaded, let's say, right? Or they weren't decapitated, whether by gunfire or directly with knives or whatever, which is, I can't believe we're having this conversation.
Yeah, so all I'm seeing is that Netanyahu said that on Twitter, and the IDF still refuses to confirm it. Where'd you get the pictures, BB? Hey, Benny. Hey, Benny boy, where'd you get those photos? Surely it wasn't from, massacres that the IDF did or anything, right? That would be crazy.
It's so fucking ridiculous. Okay, they still died. It's not like the Israeli government was going to do anything different. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, or it's not like the people that are receiving this information were going to feel differently. Like the goal there is to absolutely demand verification, because you have to do that, because in the fog of war there is so much misinformation that gets presented, and the media should do their fucking jobs 100%.
I'm not exactly having a ton of faith in the dudes that decapitated babies to treating their POWs really well.
Well,
I think that's
They did not decapitate babies. That is an unfounded statement. Please stop spreading fake fucking news, dude. What is this? Fucking Joe Rogan?
And that's
These
who
guys,
he's talking.
no, these guys, or at least I assume Second Thought, has the perspective that all matter of Israel proper is considered settler occupation.
And he's evil for thinking that. He is. Right after babies were murdered and decapitated.
All
I can say that now.
Let
me read his further
If he said this in 1949, I'd have a different opinion on the matter. You can't say this in 2023. I agree. They have nothing. They have no allies. They have nothing in the world. And people celebrate their destruction. It's happening right in front of our eyes. There's nothing. There's no equivalent. It is so horrifying that this can happen in the supposed only democracy in the Middle East, the supposed beacon of prosperity in a sea of barbaric Arabs, right? Who do mass rapes and love to behead people. All of these, some of which are true, by the way. I know. All of these are racist canards specifically to heighten the tensions and to justify what Israel is doing in broad daylight in moments that the world even chooses to care about paying attention to what's going on in Gaza. That's why I wanted to make the distinction. What goes on in the West Bank, this is constant. This is every day for Palestinians, every day.
Yeah, and that's also why there's so much like asymmetry in the way that it's covered, because journalists often aren't even allowed to go into the West Bank or Gaza, and if they are, they get assassinated. And they're also like, you know, under threat of death to, you know, maybe not tell the entire story.
And it's evil. He continues, imagine someone comes to your town, murders your neighbors, kicks you out of the home your family lived in for generations, and relocates you. Are those occupiers civilians? No, they're criminals and accomplices in genocide. Once again, referring to babies who were decapitated. At least, but again, that doesn't matter. 40 babies died at this kibbutz. Okay, kids also, children.
The 40 children has not been substantiated even by the IDF. He keeps repeating this over and over because, like, yeah, 40 children decapitated. That's a hot fucking buzzword. But, like, it's not true. It's not true. Just, like, blatantly repeating misinformation because it's, like, helpful to your point.
Oh, and we liberated the kibbutz, by the way. Everyone's cheering. We liberated the kibbutz.
Okay, yeah, like, this is a fringe guy. Like, I don't know, why did you bring this up?
Kibbutz, aka beheading babies.
I will once again present to you the same exact question. If this rally was not held and if he had not said those things that I do not agree with, do you think that there would be a difference in the analysis and the way that Palestinian people are treated? Do you think that there would be a difference in the bombing campaign that's going on? Or do you think that this is, once again, the violent sentiment of those who are siding with the oppressed?
And one thing that Hamas supposedly didn't do any more research. Yep, apathetic. He'd look if his son had debunked him. I know. I really wish he had just done a quick search. And just not let him repeat fucking 40 beheaded babies. Like, it's patently false.
Avenues. However, this is why I think it is, it's a conversation that's being had all over the media. I don't know why we spend any additional time on it here, because it does have a intentional or unintentional way of casting a negative light on the emancipatory struggle of Palestinians, especially in the West.
Right, but I mean, it still is happening though. So, like, should we not show it because it makes them look bad?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, dude.
I think it's fine to show it and say this. I think it's unacceptable, and I think optically speaking, this is not something that should happen. But also do
basically what you're saying.
But also do it in the framework of like recognizing the overwhelming amount of media in the opposite direction that is the regular everyday.
And just to be clear, we did spend the first 2.5 hours doing just that.
No, I know, but we talked more so about the real issues on the ground in the first 2.5 hours. Now we're talking about the optics. Yeah. Now we're talking about the optics and how certain things are received in the West. And if we're gonna have a conversation about like media narratives or how certain things are received in the West and optics, then that's an entirely different conversation that is devoid of.
All right, listen, I see what you're saying.
What's going on the ground?